Hello and welcome to this 18th episode of Parity Regulatory Rewind, where we provide you with regulatory news from all around the globe. First of all, we would like to apologize for last week. We had technical issues, and we would like to announce that next week we will be all traveling. So next week we will not have a session. So our next episode is going to be on the 25th. And after that, we will take our yearly summer break and be back in September. So tune in on the 25th for the last news before the summer starts. As always, we would like to remind you that we are lawyers, but not your lawyers. So this is not legal advice or any other kind of advice. We're just talking about what we found online and hope that you enjoy listening to it. We also invite you to send us questions if you have, and we are happy to answer them either immediately or in the next episode if it's more to talk about. So welcome again. And with that, I would like to give it over to Jamil, who will start with news from the UK.
Thank you, Gustav. Hello, everyone. Starting with the UK, the Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, is proposing to lift its long-standing ban on retail investors buying crypto exchange-traded notes, ETNs, such as those tracking Bitcoin and Ethereum. Previously, this was limited to professionals. These notes would now be accessible to everyday investors, provided they're listed on FCA-approved exchanges and come with clear risk warnings and financial promotion rules. The FCA emphasized that this move is meant to rebalance risk and support the growth and competitiveness of the UK's crypto sector, though retail access to crypto derivatives remains banned. A public consultation is underway with final decisions expected in early 2026. Moving on, but sticking with the FCA, the agency in the UK has initiated a public consultation on proposed regulations for stablecoins and cryptocurrency custody services, aiming to establish a comprehensive regulatory framework for digital assets. Key proposals include stablecoin regulation, where issuers would be required to maintain full reserves, appoint independent custodians for banking assets, and ensure holders can redeem tokens at face value. And the key proposals also include crypto custody rules, where firms providing custody services must implement robust security measures to safeguard user assets and ensure their accessibility at all times. The measures are part of the UK's broader strategy in being a leader in responsible crypto innovation. And the kind of quest goes on back to balance market integrity with consumer protection. And we have a couple of more stories in the UK. So there's also a story as to why the UK crypto industry uh, is accepting of stricter KYC. The UK government has introduced draft legislation bringing crypto firms under robust oversight, similar to that seen with traditional finance, requiring exchanges, lenders, and wallet providers to follow stringent transparency, consumer protection, and operational resilience standards. About 12% of UK adults now hold crypto, so a secure framework is essential. Despite there being some frustrations, many in the industry believe these measures, especially enhanced KYC and AML, will boost legitimacy and public confidence, attracting institutional and global players. However, there's concern that excessive burden could deter innovation and push startups overseas to jurisdictions with less onerous requirements, such as Dubai. Crypto leaders are urging regulators to balance this oversight with faster approvals and better communication to prevent the UK from losing its fintech edge. And moving on, the IG Group, a FTSE 250 UK listed broker, has become the first UK listed firm to offer retail crypto trading through its partnership with Uphold. It allows retail investors to directly buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies. This includes 38 tokens, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, as well as meme coins via the partnership with Uphold. The feature here is fully integrated with IG's existing platform and app, enabling seamless switching between crypto, stocks, FX, and derivatives. As a publicly listed and regulated company, IG views this move as a way to bring credibility and security to crypto retail investing, though assets aren't covered by the UK's Financial Services Compensation Scheme. And that is a few UK stories there. And now over to Glenn, who has a further story from the UK. Glenn, tell us about that.
Thank you, Jamil. So last week during Bitcoin 2025 in Las Vegas, we got some updates from British MP Nigel Farage, who made headlines when he pledged to cut UK crypto capital gains tax from 24% down to 10%. He also promised to mandate that the Bank of England hold Bitcoin in its reserves and promised new legislation banning crypto debanking. Debanking, of course, is something which he personally was in the headlines for having been being involved in a personal case. And so he's pledging to become prime minister, and if he's elected, introduce a new suite of pro crypto bills in 2029. And so, although this is quite far away, it is a very strong kind of crypto stance, pro crypto stance, which we don't see much of on the UK political scene. So it'll be interesting to see if this position offers any, favors him in the polls, so to speak. Um, so we will watch this space closely. And with that, over to Gustav to discuss some key updates over in the EU.
Thank you, Glenn. I would like to start out with Lithuania. The Bank of Lithuania has issued the country's first license for crypto asset service to Robinhood Europe, a subsidiary of the US-based fintech company Robinhood. The license allows Robinhood Europe to provide crypto assets, custody, admission, and transaction service in Lithuania and across the European Union. And Robinhood Europe is part of the Robinhood brokerage firm that was founded in the United States 2013. So that's a major step for going into Europe in big shape. Additionally, in Lithuania, 29 companies have applied for a crypto asset service license with the central bank, with 10 applications currently under review, and the Parliament has extended the transition period requiring crypto firms to obtain a license to the end of the year, after which companies will not be allowed to operate without a license anymore. In Vienna, Bybit has secured a MiCA license, and they have recently established their headquarters in Vienna. After obtaining that license, this move allows BitBuy to operate within the European market under the regulatory framework, and the company plans to hire more than 100 people and staff to support the operations there and to engage with local universities and promote blockchain technology. At the same time, or around the same time, the chief of the Italian bank has announced his views on the digital euro. Um, so Fabio Panetta, the governor of the Bank of Italy, um, on managing cryptocurrency risks in Europe, said that the digital euro is much more crucial than the markets in crypto asset regulation MiCA in mitigating the risks around crypto assets. He argues that MiCA has limited impact to the adoption of stablecoins and calls for enhanced international cooperation to establish global regulatory standards, and sees the digital euro as essential for ensuring trust and functionality in the digital payment landscape. I'm adding on a personal view that this is a normal approach for a bank, and we have seen that other people take other positions, but it's interesting because it's relating it to MiCA. And last but not least, in the European market, Santander's Open Bank applies for licenses to offer crypto services. This is also an interesting step because Santander is a major Spanish bank that is now planning to expand its business into the digital asset market, potentially issuing stablecoins denominated in dollars and euros. And this initiative is going to be carried out by its digital bank, Open Bank, which seeks regulatory licenses under the EU MiCA to offer crypto services as such. That's it from Europe, and or that's it with serious news about Europe. Next up is Jamil with a football take on Europe and crypto.
Thank you, Gustav. The football season is finished in Europe, but we still see a story where sport, specifically football and crypto, collide. The PSG, the renowned French football club and recently crowned UEFA Champions League winners, have become the first major sports team to hold Bitcoin as part of its treasury reserves. The announcement was made at the Bitcoin 2025 conference in Las Vegas by Per Helgeson, head of PSG Labs, who confirmed that the club converted a portion of its fiat reserves into Bitcoin in 2024 and continues to hold the digital currency on its books. This strategic move aligns with PSG's efforts to engage its predominantly young and tech-savvy fan base, over 80% of whom are under the age of 34. By integrating Bitcoin into its financial strategy, PSG positions itself at the intersection of sports, culture, and digital finance, potentially setting a precedent for other major clubs to follow. Beyond holding Bitcoin, PSG has been actively involved in the cryptocurrency space before. The club launched its own fan token via the Socios platform in 2018 and in 2021 entered into a multi-year sponsorship deal with Crypto.com, which included NFT collaborations. More recently, in February 2024, PSG became the first professional sports team to operate a validator on the Chills blockchain, pledging all rewards to buy back its fan tokens. And with that sports story, back over to Gustav, who has some news on Asia.
Thank you, Jamal. I would like to kick it off with Hong Kong. We've heard a lot of Hong Kong recently. Hong Kong Security and Futures Commission, SFC, plans to introduce crypto derivative trading for professional investors to enhance the country's competitiveness in the global digital market. And this initiative includes tax concessions for virtual assets to attract international fintech companies to Hong Kong. Next, I would like to move over to Kyrgyzstan. This is not news, but just a report on how its impact, what has been going on has impacted Kyrgyzstan. So it seems that Kyrgyzstan has emerged as a Central Asian primary hub for cryptocurrency due to its progressive and clear regulation. Unlike neighboring country that had more restrictive policies, Kyrgyzstan structured laws fostering a predictable environment for blockchain innovation, and the country's law on virtual assets legally defined digital assets and service provider, leading to licensing endless virtual asset service providers by 2024. And one of the focuses they had, which is rather unusual or not seen that often, is the integration with traditional finance that was prioritized, allowing banks to offer crypto services, resulting in significant market turnover in these areas. And with that, I would like to give it over to Glenn, who has more stories from Asia.
Thank you, Gustav. So, South Korea has elected pro crypto candidate Lee Jae-myung as president. Lee plans to legalize spot crypto ETFs and launch peg stablecoins to curb capital outflows. He also supports finishing the second phase of the country's crypto regulatory framework, focusing on stablecoin oversight and exchange transparency. Over in Singapore, the central bank has given local crypto firms a June 30th deadline to stop providing digital token services to overseas markets or face steep penalties. Under the Financial Services and Markets Act, the Monetary Authority of Singapore now requires Singapore entities conducting token related businesses to either cease operations or obtain a license. There will be no transitional arrangements, and violations could result in fines up to 200,000 US dollars and up to 3 years in prison. While licensing is technically possible, the MAS has made it clear that it will be allowed only in extremely limited circumstances due to AML concerns and cross border uh, currency transfer concerns as well. So in this instance, we see that legal experts are advising the firms to do a de-risk and restructure to avoid Singapore's new regulations and any exposure and risks that might happen in some of these circumstances. Over in Thailand, it is reported that 5 major crypto exchanges will be blocked, including Bybit, OKX, CoinX, 1000X, and XT.com on the 28th of June, citing unlicensed operations and AML concerns. The Thai Securities and Exchange Commission announced that the move is part of broader efforts to protect investors and crack down on illegal platforms. And so, in this circumstance, we see that investors have been urged to withdraw their funds before the shutdown takes place. The exchanges were cited for operating without a valid local license, violating Thailand's digital asset business law. Bybit and OKX have since responded, saying that they're engaging with the local regulators, but they are committed to ensuring that they uphold standards of compliance. And lastly, over in Kazakhstan, we see that they are planning to launch what they call Crypto City, which is a pilot zone where crypto can be used for payments, investments, and real estate. This will be located in a tech focused special economic zone. And the project aims to test crypto adoption in a regulated sandbox environment with the aim of attracting developers and capital and have access to crypto friendly laws and regulations where Kazakhstan can become a hub of innovation for the region. And these are the main updates in Asia. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Jamil to discuss the Middle East and Africa.
Thanks, Glenn. We're taking another look at Africa, at two jurisdictions that have come up quite a bit on Rug Rewind recently, South Africa and Nigeria. Starting off in South Africa, a court says crypto isn't covered by capital controls. The Pretoria High Court has ruled that cryptocurrencies are not classified as money or capital under South Africa's exchange control regulations, making them exempt from the country's capital control laws. The ruling comes from a case where Standard Bank challenged SARB's seizure of 16.4 million rand tied to a local firm's Bitcoin purchases and offshore transfers. The court sided with the bank, stating that the legislation must be narrowly interpreted. Judge Motha emphasized that if cryptocurrencies are to be regulated by exchange control law, legislative reform is required, not judicial reinterpretation. Crypto transfers out of South Africa now proceed without SARB approval as an immediate impact from this, likely increasing offshore crypto activity, though this may change if the laws are updated. And moving on to Nigeria, where blockchain.com expands into Africa amid emerging crypto regulation. A Nigeria office is being launched in Q2 of this year, with blockchain.com opening the office following regulatory momentum in Nigeria, where the country has recently passed a new securities law that includes crypto licensing, which has prompted blockchain.com to pursue a virtual asset service provider VASP license with the SEC in Nigeria. Ghana is expected to introduce regulation by September 2025, which may also entice blockchain.com and other exchanges to establish a presence there, as well as Kenya, where the legislation remains in early research phase. South Africa already has licensing regimes in place, with the FSCA approving numerous crypto platform licenses. So why has blockchain.com decided to establish a presence in Africa and Nigeria? Well, the region's young tech-savvy population, as well as there being smartphone ubiquity and economic instability, are all things that are fueling crypto adoption. Nigeria, in particular, ranks amongst the highest globally for crypto usage. This, along with the recent regulation, has paved the way for blockchain.com to establish a presence in the country as well as the rest of Africa. And it remains to be seen which other exchanges follow suit. Over the next 12 to 18 months, blockchain.com aims to secure local licenses, build teams, and work closely with regulators to strengthen trust and expand services across Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and South Africa. So that's the Middle East and Africa. Moving on over to Central and South America, we start in Brazil, where Re.Pay, a global crypto payment fintech, has partnered with Circle to launch a new crypto to fiat transfer service in Brazil. The collaboration enables Re.Pay users to send cryptocurrencies directly to Brazilian bank accounts, with funds automatically converted into Brazilian real upon arrival. The integration utilizes Circle's payment network, facilitating real-time settlement of cross-border payments. The advancement addresses common challenges in emerging markets, such as high transaction costs and lengthy settlement periods, by offering instant and cost-effective transfers. To encourage adoption, Re.Pay is offering a subsidized fee structure of $0 for the launch period. The service is particularly beneficial for freelancers, cross-border workers, and individuals quickly needing access to cash, allowing them to convert crypto assets into fiat currency seamlessly. And moving over to Paraguay, where President Santiago Peña's official X account was likely hacked on June 9th. The unauthorized post falsely claimed that Paraguay made Bitcoin legal tender and was establishing a $5 million Bitcoin-backed reserve. Officials urged citizens to ignore the fake announcement, and Paraguay's cybersecurity team is collaborating with X to investigate. No actual policy changes were made. The government has not adopted Bitcoin, and all claims remain untrue. Moving on over to Argentina, where anti-corruption officers have cleared President Javier Milei in the dollar Libra scandal. He has been cleared of any wrongdoing connection with the meme coin collapse, which he had previously promoted. The task force was actually set up by Milei himself to probe the incident and was disbanded earlier this year after its work was deemed complete via executive decree. Opponents have accused Milei of covering up the investigation and clamping down on transparency. Despite the clearance, federal judges in Argentina and the US continue examining financial records tied to Milei, his sister, and other individuals involved. And moving on over, we go back to Paraguay, where the president issued an official notice via X. This is following up on the last story to confirm that the account was hacked. The notice was posted on X, stating that they were working with the platform to investigate and resolve the unauthorized activity. That's it over in in Central and South America. Now over to Gustav, who will share some stories from the USA. Gustav?
Yes, thank you. I would like to start with staking. The Securities and Exchange Commission has changed its stance on crypto staking, reversing some of the policies from the Gensler area. It clarified that crypto staking services do not constitute security offerings, and this shift allows exchange-traded funds, ETFs issuer, to explore new products related to staking, which is interesting and will probably change the market a bit. Next up, I would like to talk you through a few developments around stablecoins. Apple, X, Airbnb, and Google are in early discussions with crypto firms to integrate stablecoins for reducing transaction costs and facilitating cheaper international payments. This move aligns with other tech giants like Meta and Uber, which are also considering dollar-pegged assets due to better regulatory conditions and growing investor interest. With that, I would like to give over to Glenn with more news from the regulatory side in the US.
Thank you, Gustav. So, firstly, we see that the House Committee on Financial Services has passed the Clarity Act in a 32-19 vote, advancing major crypto legislation to the House floor for a full vote. Earlier, the House Committee on Agriculture also approved the bill in a 47-6 vote, so a much wider remit. The legislation aims to establish a clear regulatory framework for digital assets, defining when a token falls under the SEC or CFTC jurisdiction, which was previously contentious and unclear. During the markup session, where lawmakers revised and finalized the bill text, the committee debated amendments, including developer liability, which is related to the next story, where we see that major crypto lobbying groups in the US, including the Blockchain Association, the DeFi Education Fund, and many others, pushed for the Clarity Act to incorporate the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act, which would protect software developers, miners, and infrastructure providers from being treated as traditional finance providers, which obviously has a lot of onerous compliance cost and increase the risk of innovating in this space. And so with that, I'd like to hand it over to Jamil to discuss some interesting information on DAOs.
Thanks, Glenn. We turn to Uniswap, where there's a bit of drama sparking debate on decentralization in Congress. In a hearing, US lawmakers delved into Uniswap DAO's recent governance turmoil, marking the first time decentralized finance was a central issue on Capitol Hill. The Uniswap Foundation received a $165 million Treasury grant in March, which sparked accusations that it's sidelining the broader DAO community. A top delegate known as Peppo resigned, accusing the foundation of prioritizing insulation over collaboration and undermining true decentralized control. There's been a bit of industry pushback on regulation, where the DeFi Education Fund and Uniswap Foundation have urged the SEC not to categorize decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, as securities, arguing that truly decentralized DAOs, where token holders collectively govern, shouldn't fall under the Howey test. And testimony from Uniswap Labs emphasized the need for tailored legal frameworks like the US Clarity Act that allow innovation while ensuring consumer safeguards. They warned that misapplying old financial rules could drive DeFi development overseas. And that's the update on Uniswap. And now, Gustav, tell us what's happening with the SEC.
Thank you, Jamil. I would like to shed light on the ETF process of the SEC, where the SEC raised concerns regarding an ETH and Solana ETFs. They said that they might qualify under the Investment Act of 1940. The filing included several other crypto-linked products, and despite the concern, the ETF's registration became effective on May 30th without resolving the issues. Interestingly, the letter came a day after the SEC staff issued the guidance exempting staking practices from security rules, so we don't really know how that's connected. SEC also decided to delay the approval of the Polkadot ETF and had announced that it would be decided today, and now have extended that period for later. On another note, Van Eyck, 21 Shares, and Canary Capital are urging the SEC to return to a first-to-file approval process for ETFs, arguing that the current approach makes the market less fair. They expressed concerns that not following the order disrupts innovation and competition in the financial market. With that, over to Glenn, who has a story on tax in the US.
Thank you, Gustav. So, the Trump administration has rescinded previous guidance that discouraged employers from offering crypto in 401k retirement plans. The rule, which started in 2022, had urged extreme caution around digital assets like Bitcoin, NFTs, meme coins, citing risk of fraud and market volatility. But the Department of Labor now says that the language was an overstep. Crypto can now be treated like any other asset class when it comes to retirement plans in America. And so, with that, I'd like to bring back in Gustav to discuss this week's funny story.
Thank you. So this week's funny story is actually a bit funny. Netflix is developing a limited series titled Altruists about the rise and fall of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX and its founder Sam Bankman-Fried. Produced by Obama's Higher Ground production, the series stars Anthony Boyle and Julia Garner as Bankman-Fried and his business partner Carolyn Ellison. And the collapse of the FTX in 2020 revealed a missing of $8 billion in customer funds, leading to Bankman-Fried's conviction for fraud in 23. And we see here they are quite different looking. It's going to be interesting how close to the storyline or different it will be. It will definitely be worth watching. And with that, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to remind you that we are taking a break next week and that we are back on the 25th before our summer break. And I wish you a wonderful day and see you next time around. Bye.
Take care, everyone.